Recognizing the dedicated public service of the Honorable Jeffrey V. Kessler.
The senior senator from the 16th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that the resolution be taken up for immediate consideration, committee reference dispensed with, and the resolution be put upon its adoption.
The senior senator from the 16th requests unanimous consent the resolution be taken up for immediate consideration, committee reference be dispensed with, the resolution be put upon its adoption. Is there objection? Chair hears none. Questions on adoption of the resolution? Is there discussion? Senior senator from the 16th.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution is to honor a senator, the senator from Marshall, that has served in this body with distinction for many years. I knew him when I first came as a judiciary chairman, and then later becoming the first and only acting president at a time when which we had a situation that could have been a constitutional crisis in the pecking order of how the president had ascended to the governor's position, and then knowing full well that this body wanted to elect its own leader, we changed the rules and he became the first and only acting president, and then later president of this body. I think it's fitting that over top his desk he has a portrait of John F. Kennedy. And John F. Kennedy says we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. One person can make a difference and everyone should try. I think that also is a theme and a very much a motto in which Senator from Marshall carries with him in his heart. I got to say, serving as his majority leader, Mr. President, I know that your task and the majority leader of the Senator from Jackson's task is not easy, especially during these days. When I first came as a freshman and at that time the governor, Earl Ray Tomlin, was actually president of the Senate, things were pretty smooth and everything was like Groundhog Day the next day. That's how it was. But when Senator Byrd died and there was a shift in the political aspect of this state, it became turbulent. And this man actually took the reins and rode that Bronco that still even bucks today. And it was with distinction that he's done that. Now I got to say, serving with him, he's not afraid of terms, and many people may term him as a liberal. But I want to read a quote that John F. Kennedy said. He says, "If by a liberal they mean someone who looks ahead and not behind, someone who welcomes new ideas without rigid reactions, someone who cares about the welfare of the people, their health, their housing, their schools, their jobs, their civil rights, and their civil liberties, someone who believes we can break through the stalemate and suspicions that grip us in our policies abroad, if that is what they mean by a liberal, then I'm proud to say I'm a liberal." I think, I don't know if he uses that term, but I guarantee what John F. Kennedy described there, that's the senator from Marshall. He often said many nights when we would talk, Mr. President, he would say that leaders lead, and what we do here, we do for the people. That's what it's all about. Always reminding me that even with process and everything that we wrestle with here and the emotions that flow and the anger, he says leaders lead and what we do here is for the people. I got to say, Mr. President, it was with great honor that I served with Senator from Marshall in leadership. It's a great honor that I continue to serve here with him today, and I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him as a leader, both in the area that he was a president, as now he's the minority leader. I'm going to miss him not having him here, but he's always going to be a friend no matter what happens in the future. And I wish him the very best and look forward to continue working with him in other capacities of leadership roles. Mr. President, I urge the adoption of Senate Resolution 69 honoring the Honorable Jeffrey V. Kessler. Thank you.
The junior senator from the 2nd. Junior Senator from the 2nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank my fellow senator from the 2nd District, my senior senator from the 2nd District. It's probably not a secret that I wasn't his first choice to be in this seat, but from the day one, he welcomed me, he talked to me, we discussed issues about our district together. When we were out at functions and things and a reporter might have missed, or somebody missed, well, you forgot Senator Leonhardt. He was always there for me. It's been a short time, and I'm proud to call you a friend. Thank you very much.
Senator from Marion.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I stand in support of this resolution. It was 6 years ago we had a chance to make history. There were the senator from Berkeley, the senator from Marshall, and myself had a dream that we could possibly contribute to the leadership of this Senate. And we worked diligently, we plotted hard, and we knew who the players were, and we put together a team that I think served well for the past 4 years. One of the most things I'm proud of is the fact that I was a part of that team, and in those 4 years I was allowed to put together a staff that I thought was outstanding, put together an agenda, and balance a budget. And during the course of that time, I can't remember, but 3 times he ever asked me to give consideration to a bill. You know, I set the agenda, ran it, we balanced the budget, we got together in our leadership teams and worked together, and I think the rest of the chairs under his leadership will attest to that. The character of a man that I had the opportunity to work for was just tremendous. The opportunity again to work for an individual with his character, you know, we worked hard, we managed the Senate, worked with the governor, and we knew that we were headed to tough times, and I think we put together an agenda that, you know, will go down in history as probably one of the best agendas we ever had. I don't know what fate holds for the senator from Marshall. You know, he may be governor, he may be downstairs, but I'm sure if he is, he's going to put together a team that will work to make West Virginia great. So, Mr. President, again, I support this resolution.
The senator from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in support of this resolution, and I'm going to start by telling a little story. It was a couple weeks ago during this legislative session that myself and some of my Republican colleagues, as well as some of the Republicans from the state party, were having dinner after one of our late night session here. And I've told the senator from Marshall this story already, but I'll share it with you all because I actually didn't know we were doing this tonight, otherwise I would have saved it. But we were all down there, and as politicians do oftentimes when they get together, we got to talking about politics and gubernatorial races and the race that our Senate President and Minority Leader are both involved in. And you know, being just amongst our own party, there was no reason to blow smoke or you know, tell anything that wasn't factual. But when we were talking about this gubernatorial challenge, and our minority leader's name came up, time and time again, everyone had the same comments, and they were along the lines of the amount of respect that each of us had for the senator from Marshall. You know, oftentimes myself and those who were having dinner there together that night might not agree on all the policy issues, but what was said repeatedly over and over again was that you know where the senator from Marshall is coming from, you know what his beliefs are, and even if they're not popular in this state, you stand by them. You're not afraid to do that, and I think that speaks volumes about a person. It's not easy to do. I mean, we've all met that challenge before here. Standing up for something that's not popular, I think you do that on a daily basis. It's been a great honor to serve with you, and I wish you the best in everything going forward.
Senator from Logan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise too in absolute total support of SR 69. You know, it's a rare occasion that you get to associate yourself with people that, after you're around them just a short period of time, you know that they're going to tell you the truth, listen to what you have as an opinion or a view, and give you the best answer they could give you. And I can remember back the night that I walked into the Senate chamber, and coming across the corridor here, I got calls from southern West Virginia, northern West Virginia, I think outside of West Virginia, on trying to solicit my vote for the presidency of the Senate. And I actually had a conversation with the gentlemen that were in total honorment of tonight, and I told him, I said, could you give me a couple days to think about what I need to do once I become a senator and I have to walk in the first night and vote to change the dynamics of the state of West Virginia? And on the phone, he didn't belabor the issue. He just said, I think I'm the guy that can do the right job. I would appreciate your support. And I can tell you, I slept on that, and the next day I got a hold of him and I said, if you get one vote, it will be mine. And I told him that. And he was from the northern part of the state and me from the southern part. But when I got over here, it was quick to see that the southern guys had some tremendous senators. But I didn't want to come in here and create a vote that would divide the Senate and what they were trying to do. And I also knew, after doing numerous checks with different people, about the integrity and the ability of leadership of Senator Kessler, I would have no problem working with him, irregardless of the geographics of his residence and mine. So I think he wanted to do a little checking on me, so he asked somebody about me, and a friend of mine told him, if he told you that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's going to be. So, getting back to finish up the story of how we started our connection, I don't regret my vote. I became a senator in November of 11 under his leadership as majority leader then, and president of the Senate. I'm president of the Senate for the majority party, and 12 and 13 and 14, I guess. And he was always there. And I ask a lot of questions. I mean, the Judiciary Chair will tell you that. Because when you talk to learned people, you learn a lot of things. But what I found out about his leadership is you didn't always have to ask his position. If he thought he could tell you something to help your position, he would look you up. So with that, I feel extremely honored to have been a part of the team under your leadership. And with that, I support the resolution.
Senator from Greenbrier.
Greenbrier. Thank you, Mr. President. I also stand to support SR 69. Very quickly, I will tell you one of the greatest things about the Senator from Marshall. In my opinion, he was a great leader for us, but one of the things he did that I think potentially could have changed West Virginia if we'd continued doing that, and that was our Southern Coalfields Revitalization Committee. We visited throughout the South. He drove all the way down from Marshall County many times, and there wouldn't be many of us there, as we listened to the concerns, economic concerns in southern West Virginia. And I don't think there was anyone more dedicated to that cause than the Senator from Marshall. So of all the things I could say, that's one of the greatest things I can say about his dedication. I'm honored today to support SR 69.
Senator from Montague.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, I too rise in support of this resolution. I just want to rise and thank the gentleman from Marshall. I appreciate the first 4 years I served with him here in the Senate. Came in at a time that was very difficult for all of us, and it required a different kind of leadership, and I believe the gentleman brought it to the table. But I'm especially proud of the gentleman from Marshall these last 2 years, which too has been different on a lot of us. And I respect the way that he handled himself, the way that he brought us together at a different time in our state's history. And I appreciate the confidence he had in me early on, allowing me to chair a committee as a newbie coming into the Senate. That's very rare, and I'm grateful for that. Grateful for his friendship, grateful for the time that we spend in watching ball games together and an occasional beer now and then, and just sharing ideas. And the fact that he had enough confidence in me during those times to just freely speak means a lot to me. And thank you.
Senator from Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, rise in support of this motion. You know, I've only been in this body for a couple of years, but I've known the senator from Marshall for probably 20. I was a young lawyer, and he was a young senator, and, you know, I used to come down here and ask him to move mountains, and I didn't realize how hard it was to herd 9 cats on judiciary or 34 cats in this body, but herding cats was hard. And you know, you all know me, I tend to be a little bit forceful when I believe in something. And I used to, I know, but you know, the senator always treated me with great respect, even when I was just some lawyer coming up and trying to do something that I thought was right in the state. I remember very well speaking to the senator right after my son was born, my second child, and I was about 44 years old, and we were talking about a case or something that he was involved in, and I said, he goes, "What's the matter?" He said, "You sound tired." I said, "You know, we just had a second child." I said, "The chaos has really increased." I said, "I'm 45 years old." I said, "I may have waited a little bit too long to have 2 children." He said, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "I'm 53. I got an 18-month-old. So he always had something to say that made you feel better even when you were down in the dumps. And, you know, Jeff Kessler, Senator Jeff Kessler, is one of the reasons that I came to this Senate, in addition to all the others that are over here with me. And whether he's in the majority or minority, I would have loved to have served with him as Senate President and seen what that was like. But, you know, he's a man of integrity. He's a man of good judgment. He's a man that looks out for the people of West Virginia, and I'm proud to call him my friend. Thank you.
Senator from Jefferson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I definitely urge support of the resolution, and I'll probably add a little levity and some history. When I came to the Senate, the only senators that are still here that were here were the senator from Wayne and the senator from Pleasance. After about 10 or 11 months of being here, which was quite an experience, coming in as a new senator, as all of you know, Senator Wiedebush died, and my good friend, and I do mean that, good friend from Marshall, was appointed to that seat. And we very quickly became good friends, and we have been ever since. Clearly, former Senator from Wetzel and I and Senator from Marshall were known as the Three Amigos. I'll let you draw your own conclusions to that, but we always had fun. And a lot of history. But a couple colorful moments that hopefully the senator remembers was one that happened to me, because sometimes you remember the good and bad moments. I won't tell anything embarrassing, but was when I drove 324 miles all the way from the Eastern Panhandle and pulled in the Marriott garage and rounded the second corner in the parking garage, and my wheel fell off my car. Do you remember that? So the one I remembered on him sitting here was he was driving down, rushing to get here one wheeling morning, and a tarp blew off the truck in front of him and completely covered the front of the car, windshield and everything else. How you weren't killed, I have no idea. Didn't you have to have your car towed, I think, as the tarp wrapped all on the wheels? So we all have our experiences, good and bad, but the one thing that I'll definitely remember about, and it shows the true character of the Senator from Marshall, in my darkest day, Mr. President, Senator from Marshall called me, and I deeply appreciated that, and still remember it tonight. He is a good friend, a great senator, and I wish you Godspeed wherever it takes you. Thank you. I urge adoption of the resolution.
Senator from Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in strong support of this resolution as well. And I rise to say I respect the senator from Marshall. I respect him. And that word's been used a lot in conversations about him. And it's the thing that generates that respect is that he's so genuine. There's a genuineness about your personality, about the issues that you promote, the ownership of who you are. And that, when we bring that to the Senate, and we bring that to our public life, that deserves and commands respect. Because, as you know, and you have a passion about the things that you care about. And when you bring that degree of integrity, determination, and passion to the Senate and to your public life, you know, you can create conflict. And you find yourself at issues that aren't exactly lined up with the public, but you never deny who you are. And I love that about you, and I absolutely respect and admire your courage in fighting for the issues. It's been a pleasure and an honor to get to serve with you, to get to know you, and to call you my friend. And I urge adoption of this resolution.
Further discussion? If not, the question before the Senate is the adoption of the resolution. All those in favor will vote yea. All those opposed vote nay. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine, ascertain the results. On this question, 34 yeas, 0 nays, 0 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those present and voting and having voted in the affirmative, I declare the resolution adopted.